Yes, my store has a black kid causing havoc. I need someone immediately because she's stealing. White woman gripped her phone closely as she spoke to cops, peering down at Madison Taylor, a young kid, was shopping for her mother's birthday dress. Madison was stunned, grabbing her. Saved money by watching this woman lie to authorities about her without remorse. All across the shopping mall, alarms blared. Emergency lights illuminated the store, blazing red as consumers stampeded out. Among this chaos, Madison froze as the sirens became louder outside. But Karen Stevens didn't know. She had no idea who she was bothering. She viewed her as another black girl to scare and degrade. She was in error. Before we begin, if you oppose discrimination, subscribe, put yes, and where you're seeing from comments. Our response will be uplifting. Young black girl Madison Taylor was reared by a single mother who taught her respect and kindness. In 1 week, Madison's mother, Michelle, turned 40. And this amazing daughter planned the ideal. Surprises for months. Every bit of her $450 allowance was saved. That may not seem like much, but for a 14-year-old, it was a wealth acquired through dedication and love. Madison spent weeks finding the right dress online. She knew just what she desired. Something stylish and attractive to make her hard-working mother feel special. Queen on her special day, she tried something new. Buy from her mom. Boutique alone. She wanted this to be her present, surprise, and expression, showing her mother she appreciated her sacrifices for them. Madison was walking. Enter Bella's boutique with enthusiasm and carefully counted money in her handbag, ready to fulfill her mother's birthday wishes. She founded Fashion Group, a multi-million-dollar firm, from nothing. Prestige Fashion Group owns Bella Boutique. Madison was shopping in her mother's store. Karen Stevens, 45, was. After 6 years as Bella's boutique manager, she was convinced she was the store's guardian. Classy image. Karen defined herself as a gatekeeper, admitting only certain people, her store and others. She was skilled at hiding her deep-seated prejudices as store policy, always justifying consumer discrimination with professional motives. Karen built everything. Identity around running this high-end store, feeling that barring the wrong people protected it. Business. She had no idea she was about to meet the woman who owned everything. I thought she protected. The moment Madison Taylor entered Bella's glass doors. Meanwhile, Karen Stevens watched her like a predator. A young black girl entered her luxury boutique alone. Adult. Karen's perverted mentality saw this as suspicious. It was boutique, where dresses cost $300 to $500 or more. What was a kid doing alone? 2 minutes before Madison arrived, a 30-year-old white woman entered. With her teen daughter. Karen's demeanor changed completely. Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to Bella's. How can I help you find something amazing today? Warm voice, Karen. Kind, enthusiastic. She showed them the latest arrivals and offered free water and inquiries about special occasions. But Madison approached the. Karen barely replied when she asked for help finding a frock for her mother's birthday with a nice grin. Looked up from paperwork. No hello, welcome, nothing. Madison. She waited 30 seconds like a polite child before saying, "Excuse me, ma'am. I'm looking for a dress for my mother's birthday." Kay looked up with the most disdainful look. "Dresses are over there," she remarked coldly, pointing vaguely toward the store's back without looking. No offer of assistance, no inquiries, no customer service, just what Madison wanted. Madison. She felt the coolness immediately, but she was bred to trust others. Maybe the woman was just a horrible day. Maybe she was occupied. Madison grinned. "Thank you." She walked into the dress section with her head held high, determined not to let anyone's negativity ruin her special day. Mission. Ashley, the salesperson, observed this from across the room. She felt nauseous at the store. She saw Karen do this previously, treat certain customers like outsiders while welcoming others. Ashley. She wanted to help Madison and be kind to this sweet girl, but she was scared. Karen warned employees who didn't follow her to find new jobs. Madison started shopping for dresses. I must say, this child was more careful and considerate than most adults. Customers would. She delicately stroked the cloth to assess quality, check the price tags, and treat each outfit like silk. She sought something special to make her mother feel attractive and valued. Karen didn't see a respectful, youthful customer. She saw a threat that needed monitoring. She began tracking Madison about the store from 10 feet away, as if she were a recognized figure. Shoplifter. Madison picked up a beautiful blue dress to check the price tag, and Karen soon emerged. Sighed. Be careful, Karen urged quickly. These are costly stuff, not toys. Madison looked up, shocked. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I understand. Just pricing. These dresses start at $300. Karen replied in a way that implied Madison couldn't. You obviously can't afford it. But Madison raised right. Instead of reacting, she said, Thanks for telling me. Concerning costs. I've been saving for this. Karen raised her eyebrows. Incredulous, she left, mumbling something Madison couldn't hear. The next 20 minutes repeated this pattern. Madison always exhibited. Do you understand how much that costs? Karen would sneer at a dress. These must be treated carefully. Meanwhile, 16-year-old Emma Wilson, white consumer, watched this unfold. She and her went shopping. Mother's credit card for a homecoming outfit, and Karen had been kind and helpful, offering to offer accessories, alternative sizes, and to store stuff while Emma decided. In comparison, although therapy was clear, Madison showed remarkable maturity at her age. Despite abuse, she kept shopping with dignity, determined to find her mother's perfect garment. Then she saw it. A stunning emerald green dress with lovely neckline beading. Elegant and refined, just right. Something that would make her mother feel royal on her 40th birthday. Madison delicately removed the garment, the rack, and checked the price. $400. Perfect. She had $450, leaving her money for tax and possibly a lovely gift box. She approached the counter where Karen was helping Emma choose accessories while waiting her turn. When Emma finished, Madison went forward with the dress delicately draped over her arm. Excuse me. Please let me try this dress, Madison respectfully requested. Karen, her expression tightened as she saw the outfit and Madison. That, she spoke slowly, as if to someone who couldn't comprehend English, about the $400 outfit. I don't think is for you. Madison's heart sunk, but she expected this. She got there, into her purse, and took out her meticulously counted cash. $450 neat. She'd structured her bills dozens of times. I have the money, she said, placing it on the counter. The counter. I've been saving for months to buy my mother a birthday dress. Karen's expression was priceless. There was a brief moment of disbelief that this infant had the money. Karen didn't apologize or demonstrate decency. Astonishment suddenly became ugly. Anger. Where did you obtain this? Money? Karen demanded, staring at the bills like loot. The question perplexed Madison. I saved my allowance, but Karen didn't buy it. In her perverted psyche, black teens cannot legitimately have $450. Don't believe you, she said flatly. No kid your age has that much money. Madison cried, but she tried again. Ma'am, I promise, this is my money. I have the bank envelope. Call my mother if you need someone to confirm. No, Karen said, quit telling stories. Put that dress away and leave my store. Madison understood. Truly happening. Not money or store policy. She decided Madison didn't belong here because of her skin tone. Instant she came in. Nothing Madison said or did would change her opinion. But Madison was her mother's daughter, wouldn't be intimidated into leaving without a struggle. I'd like to speak to you. I am the manager, she whispered. Karen chuckled. Manager, love, leave. That's when things became serious. Unpleasant. Madison's respectful response was, then I'd like to speak to your district manager or the business owner. Karen raged. How dare this child oppose her authority? How dare she not retreat in disgrace like Karen expected? Karen growled. You're not speaking to anyone. I suppose. You're causing trouble. I assume you came to steal and are hiding things. I'm not hiding anything. You can search. Karen lied, her voice rising. I've seen you put something in your jacket pocket. Watched you, and you've been suspicious since you arrived. The store went silent. Other diners stared. Ashley Rodriguez felt queasy. Emma Wilson opened her phone. Madison started recording, unable to believe what she was seeing. She was shaking and crying. I took nothing. Let me contact my mother, Karen. No calls. You're a shoplifter, and I'm in charge. Karen Stevens called 911, staring at the phone. Karen Stevens. Madison stared at her with loathing. Manager at Bella's Boutique on 5th Street. A young black woman is attempting theft and hiding items, and being hostile when confronted require immediate police aid. Karen yelled at Madison to put her phone away when she tried to call her mother. Write justice in the comments if you think Karen was wrong to call the police on Madison. Tell us what you would have done to Karen if you were Madison's mother. Subscribe to avoid missing out. 23 miles across town, Michelle Taylor sat. Prestige's boardroom hosts the quarter's most significant meeting. At Fashion Group headquarters, executives, investors, and department heads discussed a $50 bill. Million expansion would create hundreds of jobs in 3 states. Michelle, perfect in a dark gray business suit, led the presentation calmly, sitting across from the authority that built her empire from nothing. Richard Blackstone, the company's largest investor, hadn't hidden his preference for a black woman. Could not oversee a fashion business. He questioned every decision. She searched for months for a weakness he might use to fire her. Can see from these projections, Michelle pointed to the huge screen behind her. Our third quarter profits exceeded projections by 18%, and customer satisfaction scores are at an all-time high in all our stores. Michelle, that's impressive, but I have a problem. Some of our store managers have been complaining about your managerial approach. Despite her jaw tightening, Michelle maintained innovative customer service policies. Richard, please clarify. The room fell silent. Everyone knew Richard was baiting Michelle into an emotional response he might use against her. Was about to put him in his place when her assistant, Patricia Martinez, knocked. Patricia had worked for Michelle for 8 years and had rigorous instructions not to interrupt board meetings unless someone was dying. Patricia's expression made. This is an emergency, Patricia murmured to the security guy. Call concerning Miss Taylor's daughter. Michelle's phone was quiet face down. She sat at the mahogany table for board meetings per business procedure. It showed 17 missed calls and 12 texts, the latest being, Mommy, help me. They're arresting me, and I didn't do anything. Please visit Bella's Boutique. The change was immediate. The calm CEO was replaced by a mother whose child was in danger. Sprang up from her chair so fast it nearly fell over, her face changing from professional calm to barely restrained. She said, "This meeting is adjourned," stopping the meeting. Rooms like knives. Emergency family situation. Richard Blackstone recognized his chance. Michelle, you can't quit midway through the quarter's most critical presentation. Exactly the unprofessional approach I've been discussing. Michelle turned on him with eyes that might melt steel. Richard, my 14-year-old daughter is in police custody. You can object to me placing my child's safety over your investment worries. Oh, that's me. She grabbed her keys and handbag, her palms quivering with adrenaline. Patricia, clear my agenda for the day. Call Dr. Sarah Williams immediately, David Chun. If my daughter traumatized, I want our family therapist on standby. Board members. sitting in startled stillness as Michelle Taylor, who never lost her composure or exhibited vulnerability, headed for the door. Richard Blackstone was undoubtedly calling other investors on his phone. Michelle's shoes clicked against the. She tried again and got voicemail on Madison's number on the lobby's marble floor. She hit the elevator button with quivering hands, her mind running through every potential possibility. Michelle got into her black Mercedes AMG and contacted her lawyer in the parking garage. Been arrested in Bella's boutique. I don't understand, but I need you now. For 12 years, David Chin represented Michelle in business negotiations and other matters. Arrested Madison? For what? His voice. He was shocked to learn Madison had been in problems with the authorities after knowing her since she was a toddler. Ludicrous, Michelle exclaimed, rushing out of the parking garage. As Michelle sped through downtown traffic, she made a threat. Michelle Taylor calls Chief Morrison. My daughter's been arrested at one of my establishments, and Police Chief Morrison had served 4. Michelle was a leading police supporter for 8 years, donating hundreds of thousands. Community initiatives, purchased new equipment, and created an officer scholarship program. Michelle, what are you discussing? Let me check what's happening. Chief Morrison replied simply. Confused. Hold on. Michelle heard him typing furiously. I'm displaying shoplifting. Contact Bella's boutique on 5th Street, Officer Johnson said. Michelle, are we talking? This makes no sense. Chief, my daughter contacted me from police custody. She's young, has never had a school detention, and investigate and correct what happened to put her in handcuffs for shopping. Michelle's network was spreading the news around town. Patricia called Dr. Sarah. Patricia, what about Williams, the family therapist who helped Michelle and Madison split years earlier? Exactly happened? Dr. Williams asked, collecting her keys to head to the shop. Details are unknown. I've never seen Mrs. Taylor so upset about Madison's shoplifting arrest. Dr. Williams has known Michelle for 6 years and seen her handle business troubles and death. Threats with poise. If Michelle was crumbling. Back to Bella's boutique, the situation was worse than expected. Social media has spread news of a. People were gathering outside after a black youngster was arrested at an upmarket store. Pictures and videos. Others asked about what happened. Ashley Rodriguez broke down at the store after seeing Karen Stevens hurt a child. Despite her best efforts, she kept thinking about her 9-year-old daughter Isabella and how she'd feel if someone treated her baby like Karen handled Madison. Ashley contacted Miguel, wringing her hands. Baby, something terrible happened at work. Miguel Rodriguez, I should have done or stopped it today. Had 15 years of social service experience and watched how racial profiling hurt children. Trauma that could last decades. Ashley, where is she? Outside in a police car. Her mother is coming. Miguel, what if they arrest her? What if this damages her? She's a baby. Officer Johnson was getting ready outside the business. Increasingly uncomfortable. Madison Taylor wasn't a typical shoplifter. She was polite, articulate, and perplexed about why she was arrested. Miss was in trouble, and the store manager explanation was flawed. Taylor, Officer Johnson asked gently, can you describe the store incident? Madison dried her tears. She attempted to calm down. I saved for months to buy a frock for my mother's birthday. A rude woman followed me around and made price comments from the moment I entered. She got angry and accused me of stealing when I showed her I had money to buy a dress. Sir, I was only looking at outfits. I even offered. Officer Johnson was beginning to doubt his decision to let her inspect my purse. He assumed it was a shoplifting case, but it was more like a misunderstanding. Was out of control. His radio started working. Unit 47, this is Chief Morrison. Please call me promptly about the kid in custody. Officer Johnson's stomach plummeted. Chief Morrison never directly prosecuted shoplifting. Wrong. He left the patrol cruiser and called the chief. Chief, this is Johnson. You wanted me to call. Johnson, what's up with the shoplifting case? Michelle just called. Chief Michelle Taylor claims we arrested her daughter for shopping. Don't understand. Michelle Taylor, Prestige Fashion Group CEO, significant police. Department backer, mayor friend. Johnson, tell me you didn't. Officer Johnson believed the ground was shaky to arrest this woman's daughter without proof. Shifting beneath him. Chief, the store manager seemed genuine when she said she saw the girl shoplifting. In this city, Michelle Taylor is one of the most powerful women. If her daughter was wrongly arrested, is going to be our nightmare. What proof do you have? The store manager says the girl hid stuff, sir. Christ, Johnson, do you understand why she's in trouble? Sir, we haven't searched her yet. I was waiting for a search warrant. Female cop arrives. Don't search her or do anything else. Johnson, pray you did more than ruin your career. Officer Johnson felt horrible looking back at the lifeless line. Madison, who was sitting in his police cruiser like an innocent child, knew he might have made the mistake. His biggest career blunder. Michelle's Mercedes. Driving dangerously. She contacted her brother Marcus, a federal judge, and her sister-in-law. Marcus arrested Madison. Denise, NAACP worker. Racist store manager handcuffed my baby while shopping. Justice Marcus Taylor had seen his share of legal injustice. But his niece being caught for shopping made him furious. I'm going to the supermarket, Michelle. Do nothing to worsen this. Let me handle legal. Michelle also nicknamed her greatest friend and business partner, Dr. Angela. Thompson, medical clinic chain owner. Angela, meet me. Bella's boutique. If Madison is traumatized, I want a doctor to check. She immediately. Dr. Thompson was Michelle's college best friend and Madison's honorary aunt. Already in my car. Michelle attempted to relax. The Madison is strong like her mama. Michelle was agitated. She was a lady who rose from poverty and defeated racist investors and sexist business partners, who founded an empire while raising a daughter alone. Never had she felt helpless as an adult. But the notion of her child terrified and alone broke her heart. As Michelle rushed through the metropolis, her phone ringing continued. Her friends, colleagues, and business contacts heard about the arrest. Associates. The Madison community was startled. This kid volunteered at animal shelters and tutored schoolchildren. Patricia, her helper, called to update. Mrs. Taylor, I've monitored social media. There are. Madison's arrest is trending online. Bella's boutique boycotts are being called for. Let them boycott, Michelle grimaced. That store may close permanently after what they did to my daughter. Back at the store, the crowd outside grew. Someone called local news, and reporters responded. Approaching. Karen Stevens gradually recognized that her typical shoplifting arrest was serious. Growing into more. Ashley Rodriguez gained confidence. She approached one of the Kesha Jackson, a young black Channel 7 news reporter. Excuse me, Ashley whispered. I work in the store. I witnessed everything, and that girl did nothing wrong. Jackson's eyes sparkled. Up. Employee witnesses could expose this story. Will you go? In camera? Ashley considered her daughter Isabella and the world she wanted for her. Grow up in. Yes. What happened here must be revealed. In the meantime, Dr. Sarah Williams arrived. She ran to the patrol car where Madison was. Sit and tell Officer Johnson who she is. Already anxious, Officer Johnson. Unsure what to do. Madam, I must verify your credentials. Tires squealing in the midday air sounded like a warning alarm. Taylor's Michelle. Mercedes AMG abruptly stopped in front of Bella's boutique. The kind. Aggressive driving that halted sidewalk traffic. The engine was jogging when Michelle erupted like a force of nature from the driver's door. Her height was 5 feet 7 inches. Fancy heels, wearing a power suit that cost more than most people's monthly pay. Her natural, a sleek, professional hairstyle was pulled back. And pride. She commanded attention with her presence. The kind. Power that comes from developing an empire by yourself and refusing to be told you can't achieve. Her steps toward the patrol car were barely controlled. Fury. She clicked her heels on the sidewalk like a countdown to judgment. Sidewalk users immediately avoided her, thinking she was not someone you wanted to cross. Another automobile drew up behind her. Judge Marcus Taylor left, his federal credentials showing, Dr. Angela Thompson with medical bag. Karen Stevens watched this caravan. Rising confusion and anxiety among influential people. Prestige Fashion Group's owner was new to her person, and she had no idea that the woman approaching her would devastate her world. Officer Johnson looked up from the patrol cruiser with a weird foreboding. There. He paused at this woman's approach. She walked like a boss. Everything in sight. Someone who demanded instant obedience. When Michelle was. She opened her mouth 10 feet from the patrol car, and her voice sliced through everything. Stop. Remove my daughter's handcuffs now. Her voice was authoritative. Commanding Officer Johnson retreated. Madison's head snapped. She cried with relief. Dr. Williams rushed to Madison. It's okay, honey. Your mother is here. Still unaware of who she was dealing with, Karen Stevens. Her, stepping forward with her day-long smugness. This woman was about to be placed in. Like she'd put her kid in her place. Ma'am, Karen arrogantly said, your daughter tried to steal from my store and will see consequences. The results of her actions, Michelle's laser-focused gaze on Karen raised the fever. To decrease 10 degrees. Your store? Michelle's voice killed. Silence is scarier than screaming. Judge Marcus appeared, his federal badge visible. Visible. Judge Marcus Taylor wants to know your evidence. Dislike this youngster. Karen raised her chin boldly, unaware. Federal judicial involvement's relevance. As Bella's boutique manager, I decide who belongs here. And who doesn't. This female isn't welcome and try to steal. Michelle moved forward. Closer. And Karen felt like she was looking at a predator. My daughter doesn't belong here, Michelle said slowly, tasting and finding the words. Toxic. Officer Johnson, feeling a complete outburst. Reclaimed power, ma'am. Please move aside while we resolve this. Michelle produced her driver's license from her purse. She gave Officer Johnson her license and business card with such. Quiet before a deadly storm. Officer Johnson examined the ID. Michelle Taylor, CEO, he said, his face turning white and his hands shaking. Prestige Fashion Group was on police donation checks and on the invitation to the police chief's annual charity banquet, seen dozens of times in the newspaper business section. He murmured, "Oh my God," so only Michelle could hear. Dr. Angela Thompson gently assessed Madison's condition on her opposite side. Madison, are you injured, honey? Were you touched improperly? Michelle's voice was eerily quiet. She spoke to Officer Johnson without looking away from Karen. My name is Michelle Taylor, CEO and owner, and this is my ID. Bella's boutique is owned by Prestige Fashion Group. My employee just detained my kid for shopping in my store. The quiet was deafening. Karen, you could hear people breathing. The news cameras were recording every word. Stephen's face went from cocky to confused to horrified in 3 seconds. Ashley Rodriguez was close enough to hear Michelle's voice after pushing through the crowd. Mrs. Taylor, Ashley murmured, shivering. Ashley Rodriguez, a store employee, observed everything and Madison did nothing wrong. That's not possible, Karen Stevens stuttered, hyperventilating. Though shivering, she said, the owner, the corporation. Company is mine, Michelle said, finally focusing on Karen. Every store, staff, policy. My every choice. Karen Stevens, you made the biggest mistake of your pitiful life. Karen's legs buckled. She'd called the cops on the subject and clutched a neighboring car for support as reality hit her like a wave. Owner's daughter, humiliating and traumatizing the woman whose career could end. Judge Marcus was taking notes on everything he saw. Officer Johnson, let me clarify. This child was arrested purely on the A retail employee with a clear conflict of interest has been accused, right? Your Honor, I responded to a shoplifting call. The store manager claimed she. No, sir. We haven't searched the child for stolen goods. Did you study security footage? The manager indicated the cameras weren't working. Dr. Williams looked up from Madison's exam. Child indicates trauma and anguish. Her pulse is high. Panic attack and crying for nearly an hour. Officer, handcuffing a toddler. Based on such weak evidence, could be child abuse. Michelle approached Madison, who was still in handcuffs. She tenderly stroked her daughter's face. Baby, are you okay? Did anyone injure you? Madison nodded. Her tears, Mommy. I didn't do anything wrong. I just wanted to purchase you a birthday frock with my own money. Michelle turned to Officer Johnson with a broken heart reconstructed with titanium. Officer, you have 10 seconds to remove those steel-melting eyes. Handcuffs from my daughter before a federal civil rights case. So shaking were Officer Johnson's hands that he didn't need to be warned again. He barely turned the key, yet he uncuffed Madison in record time. Madison cried into her mother's arms after being freed. In her gaze, Dr. Angela swore vengeance on anyone who had inflicted this agony. Michelle, I need to take Madison to the hospital for a complete assessment. This condition may cause major psychological and bodily harm. Karen Stevens stood in shock, watching her world disintegrate. She'd built it. Identity around being this posh boutique's gatekeeper. She worked for the mother of the girl she'd tried to destroy, but this wasn't over. Michelle Taylor was just beginning, and Karen Stevens was about to. It was time to pay the price for messing with the wrong family. You only heard Karen Stevens' heavy breathing after Michelle's admission. She literally lost color as reality hit her like a ton of bricks. Falling building. This irate parrot was the owner. The entire firm. The woman who signed her paychecks may kill her career and more. Future in retail. Karen's survival instincts were finally activated. Started looking for any excuse to save herself. Mrs. Taylor, there's a bad mistake. I was following store protocol. Shoplifting must be avoided. Understand? I protected your investment. Judge Marcus advanced, his federal badge shining. The afternoon sun. Miss Stevens, you admitted that my niece is suspect enough for police. Engagement based on what criteria? Karen anxiously looked about, yearning for unmet support. She was young and alone. Dr. Angela Thompson concluded coldly. No, I wouldn't call the cops on a black child shopping. Never. Karen was hyperventilating now, aware every syllable she spoke was digging her grave deeper. Michelle's stammering voice sliced Karen. Officer Johnson, find the security. Live feed from my business. Officer Johnson, still sweating. Dangerous position. Clear digital quality. Michelle, Judge Marcus, Dr. Angela Thompson, Officer Johnson, and others. Witnesses packed the office while Karen Stevens stood in the corner, knowing she would be caught lying. High-definition film showed Madison looking guilty, entering the store with a grin, gently asking Karen for help, being ignored, then dismissed. Every conversation was perfectly caught. Madison's considerate treatment of the products, her patience while Karen serviced white people first, her courteous price inquiry. Dr. Angela Thompson pointed to the screen. Madison is being more careful with those outfits than most adult clients. Karen followed Madison around the store like she was following a criminal, lingering and making comments that made Madison uncomfortable. Discomfort. Madison showed Karen her money. Karen's amazement turned to fury rather than apology. Right there, Ashley remarked. Madison showed her the $450 while she was crying at the TV. Karen's reaction is anger at Madison's wealth, the most painful. The following segment of the film showed Madison doing nothing wrong. Merchandise, no suspicious activity, no stealing. Karen said she saw Madison hiding things, but the camera showed her altering her jacket. Judge Marcus took careful notes after feeling warm in the store. Officer Johnson, This proves Miss Stevens lied to police. Madison committed no crime. Karen tried one last time to preserve herself. Cameras don't show everything. Therefore, she may have hidden stuff. Michelle looked at Karen with scorn, making her step back. Your defense is that my daughter is a master crook who stole products that became popular. Ashley asked, is that story you want to continue? Rodriguez spoke and gained strength after being silenced for too long. Complicit in Karen's bigotry through passivity, but seeing this family's sorrow stirred something, and Ashley stepped forward, calling Mrs. Taylor. I need to tell you all I saw today and apologize. Watching her follow Madison around the store like a criminal and unwilling to believe Madison had legitimate money to buy. The phone footage was worse than security cameras because it had audio. You could hear Karen's snarky remarks regarding Madison not fitting in the store, her dismissal when Madison explained she had money to buy a dress. Michelle gently approached Karen Stevens, shoes clicking. A countdown to judgment. Karen instinctively backed away until she was squashed against the floor. Wall with nowhere to go. Karen Stevens, Michelle spoke quietly, making everyone strain to hear. Here. My daughter was innocent until you taught her to distrust the world today. You terrified a little girl attempting to buy her mother a gift. Birthday present, Karen cried, mascara pouring down her cheeks in darkness. Streams. My error, Mrs. Taylor. I can learn. Can change. You're sorry? Michelle's voice increased slightly. Everyone heard. Fury she was controlling. Sorry you were caught. That your victim is connected to a powerful person, but you're not sorry for hurting me. Judge Marcus spoke authoritatively. Miss Stevens, what? Officer, you may be charged with filing a fake police report today. Johnson, understanding his career was at risk, tried to intervene. I apologize, ma'am, Mrs. Taylor, for not investigating more extensively before. Making an arrest, Michelle focused on Officer Johnson. Your 14-year-old daughter was handcuffed by a racist woman. You didn't ask for it. You didn't check security footage or ask why a child with $450 in cash needed to steal an affordable dress. Dr. Angela Thompson looked up. Examine Madison. Michelle, I must get Madison to the hospital for a comprehensive trauma evaluation. Her blood pressure is high and she has severe stress. Michelle needs psychological help now, but before they depart, she addressed Karen Stevens and Officer Johnson, the audience, news cameras, and everyone who needed to comprehend what transpired. Karen Stevens is fired immediately and barred from Prestige Fashion Group properties. You will be escorted out by security and never work in retail again. Karen fell into a chair, the weight of her wrecked future crashing on her. She lost her career, reputation, and probably her life. Freedom because she couldn't see past her preconceptions. Michelle surveyed the witnesses, news cameras, and justice seekers. Serviced. Today's events are abhorrent yet common. Discrimination against children and adults without resources occurs daily. She called her corporate communications head today. Patricia, issue a press release immediately. Prestige Fashion Group was establishing a customer equality policy and training all personnel on anti-bias. Has no tolerance for bigotry, and I'm creating a $10 million scholarship fund for youth who suffer discrimination. The crowd murmured approval. But Michelle was using her power and wealth to transform the system. The most crucial time was ahead. Michelle headed to Madison, was sitting with Dr. Angela Thompson and knelt to her daughter's eye level. Sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry this happened to you, Michelle murmured, breaking her voice for the first time all day. I'm sorry some people will judge you before knowing you. You should know that. What happened today doesn't define you. And everything about Karen Stevens' ignorance. Madison gazed up at her mother with older eyes than that morning. Mommy, I wanted to buy you something lovely for your birthday. I saved for years. Michelle shed tears for the first time since arriving. I know, honey. We'll buy that dress. We'll buy that dress and others because you deserve to shop. Wherever you want fearlessly. Doctor Angela Thompson finished her prelims. Michelle Madison as well, but I encourage counseling. Her cope with trauma. She suffered psychological torture today. Already planned, Michelle said. Dr. Sarah Williams meets us at hospital. They were astonished when Michelle insisted on something before leaving for the hospital. Madison, I want. Return to that store together. You should choose your own dress, and Ashley should. Help us sufficiently. Judge Marcus seemed worried. Are you sure, Michelle? Wise. Madison has had enough trauma for one day. Uncle Marcus, this. Important, Madison remarked, speaking for herself. That woman shouldn't win. I want to buy without fear. Anymore. As Ashley Rodriguez took over, they returned to Bella's boutique. But this time, everything was different. Ashley showed them kindness and respect. The kind. Customer service should have started earlier. Mrs. Taylor, Madison, Bella's boutique welcomes you. Ashley answered with a smile. Madison, I know you want a nice mother's dress. Birthday. Madison nodded, remaining close to her mother but exhibiting great perseverance. Yes, ma'am. I wanted something to make her feel gorgeous. Ashley cried at the maturity and love in Madison's voice. Help you locate the right attire. Then, they spent the next hour in the store with Ashley offering Madison quality service. Received initially, she showed Madison different sizes, advised on styling, and treated both. Mother and daughter were respected. Madison found the beautiful emerald outfit she wanted, and Michelle demanded they pick 3 more dresses, not because Madison needed them, but because she needed a good shopping experience to recoup from the day's stress. As they, following their purchase, Ashley carefully rang up the sale. Your mother is lucky to have a considerate daughter, Madison. That dress will look amazing on you. As her daughter was treated with compassion and respect, Michelle saw her confidence return. Shopping should feel like this. Exciting, empowering, happy. The news of Bella's boutique incident spread quickly on social media and traditional media. By that evening, the story trended nationwide. Justice for Madison rallied those who had suffered similar discrimination. Michelle exploited media attention to announced major modifications to all prestige fashion group properties. Every employee must take bias training. A diverse hiring program would guarantee retail workers represented communities they served. Every store would visibly display strict customer equality practices. Effects on employees who broke them. Most importantly, Michelle founded the $10 million Madison Taylor Scholarship Foundation, charity for discriminated youth. The foundation would offer education and mentorship for minority kids, ethnicity, or income. 3 weeks later, Michelle Taylor celebrated her 40th birthday at family, friends, and business associates attended an exquisite celebration. She looked stunning in Madison's emerald green outfit. When it came, Michelle stood up and spoke about her most significant person with tears in her eyes. My daughter Madison experienced one of the harshest types of discrimination in our country 3 weeks ago. Society. She was buying a birthday dress for me when a store manager said her skin color made it her a felon. Shopping while black got Madison arrested, handcuffed, and frightened. Everyone hung on her every word in the quiet chamber. The store manager didn't realize she wasn't just hitting any kid. She assaulted my child. She didn't realize that her victim had more guts, elegance, and dignity than she could ever dream for. Possess. Michelle stared at Madison, who was beaming at the head table. Madison, you taught me something I'll never forget. When life was cruel, you didn't be harsh back. You stood tall when someone made you feel small. Tall. You resisted injustice with truth and integrity. You motivated me to use my authority and resources to ensure this never happened to another kid. Michelle continued despite the deafening cheers. Dress I'm wearing. Not simply lovely tonight. It represents something more significant. Symbolizing a daughter. love for her mother, a child's tenacity in the face of hostility, and our ability to choose love over fear, justice over prejudice, and action over inaction. Michelle raised her. Thanks to Madison Taylor, 14, who taught her mother and others. Change in this room begins with speaking up. Every youngster deserves to dream, shop, and live without fear. The 5-minute standing ovation included many guests wiping tears. Madison rose and hugged her mother. So in that, their ordeal had deepened their bond, not damaged it. 6. Bella's boutique reopened months later following substantial renovations and retraining. Community leaders, civil rights advocates, and families from all over attended the big reopening. Backgrounds: Michelle and Madison cut the ribbon, marking a new beginning. Not merely for the store, but to fight retail discrimination. Karen Stevens never retailed again. Officer Johnson was trained on prejudice and investigation procedures. But more, Madison Taylor learned that her voice counted. Injustice could be challenged, and sometimes refusing silence is the most powerful thing. The emerald green dress Madison chose for her mother's birthday started it all. Sign of love, strength, fearlessness, and the mother-child link. Daughter who revolutionized the world by rejecting bigotry. Every kid gets to dream, shop, and live fearlessly. Since Madison and Michelle Taylor are brave, this opportunity would reach thousands of kids. Please like, subscribe, and share this tale if you liked it. Can learn. See you next.